Hello and welcome to Nug Cymek Review DC Comics, the New 52, where every week Nug and I review every single one of the new DC titles. I'm Andrew Cymek.
And I'm Nug, and this week is a week 5 of the month of November, and since DC Comics has 4 weeks of comics to ship, there's kind of only 2 comics this week.
Only 2 comics.
But we are going to make it up, because it is kind of the midway point of a lot of the first arcs of most of the new DC 52. We have read all the issue 3s. Next week we start all the issue 4s, so it's a nice chance to go, this is like the halfway mark of the first arc for a lot of these, so why not take a quick review of what we like and what we don't like.
A look back at the DCU with Nug and Cymek.
Remember then? Remember when we were just getting into it?
Oh, we were so young.
We had all these ideas that it would be fun.
A twinkle in our eyes.
We were so young. Alright, up first, Legion Secret Origin, issue 2. I remember reading the first one thinking it was an origin being retold, much like Supergirl and Blue Beetle, yet another origin being retold that I don't necessarily need.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to see more Legionnaires involved in the origin than just the big 3, but at the same time, there was some fun stuff in this. The Brainiac 5 stuff is pretty fun in it.
Yeah, it made me smile, the Brainiac 5 stuff, and actually seeing how powerful his shield generator is.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some nice stuff with Phantom Girl, is it? But overall, again, you're looking at an origin story. Is it needed? I'm not sure if it's needed. I know this is the 3rd Legion book that's out there right now.
Yeah,
with
not an ongoing, but yeah, it is
ongoing.
your 3rd Legion book.
So I guess this is the book that's supposed to get you to understand who the Legion is, because I'm telling you, those other 2 books...
They don't do a good job for him.
No, you're kind of... For new readers, you're on your own. This book still isn't doing it for me.
Yeah, it's a story being told that I don't necessarily need to be retold. I like seeing the characters that I know very well in another book, but at the same time, it could easily just not be done. Doesn't
it feel a little dry to you, though? I mean, when I was reading it, I was like, why does it feel like Phantom Menace dialogue almost? Like where... And I mean that in terms of there's so many... I mean, they're dealing with the politics of the situation, so I can understand that, but...
But then that's why you think it's like Phantom Menace, because it's all politics.
Like, last time I checked, wasn't Star Wars supposed to be about fun and kids and spaceships, and I thought that's kind of what the Legion was, and instead we're getting bogged down in the semantics of Parliament?
Well, and these 3 people who have been, like, watching over, protecting everything, and now they look like they're being replaced by these kids, so... Yeah,
so, I mean, overall, I'm not really feeling the Legion still, but, you know, let's see where it goes, like anything.
Right. The other comic out this month is, this week, Thunder Agents #1. I guess this will be one of 6 for sure.
One of 6.
There were previous issues of Thunder Agents, got great reviews. Coming in at it just from this, because I never did read the first 6, this really got good for me when I finally found out who the characters were at about the 3/4 mark of the book. When the 2 shirt and ties are on their date and they're talking about the history of the Crazy Helmet.
I actually really like this book.
Yeah.
I think the dialogue between the 2 shirt and ties is amazing, and their relationship. There's some really funny stuff, and they introduce a machine that I love. I'm not going to spoil it for you because half of the fun of this book, I had never even heard of Thunder Agents. Like Nug, didn't pick up the first 6, had known that there was a series before, picked it up, was pleasant. This is a surprise for me because I wasn't expecting to like Thunder Agents.
Once I got into that, I was like, that's who those people are. Now I'm starting, so I'm really looking forward to, I might pick up the first collection because this sounds great.
That's pretty exciting. I mean, they kind of set you off, like all good stories do, with the finishing of a previous adventure, right? Like, it kind of throws you right in the action, which you might be telling yourself, oh, what's going on? I'm not sure who these characters are. But then they kind of take a step back, and unlike the Legion, I like these 2 characters, and they're setting it up slow with those 2 characters so we have a firm grasp on who they are.
Yeah.
There's some great dialogue between them. You know, I can't quite pinpoint what I like about Thunder Agents, like, 100%, but I do like it. And if you're willing to give it a shot, I'd say give it a shot.
Now, it's time for that mid-season report card, if you will. I've written down a few things here.
Nug Cymek Report Card to DCU.
Do we have a great graphic? Here's where the great graphic will go.
White text.
Oh, white text? Okay, that's fine. Starting with, we're going to section them off the way they've been color-coded.
Sure, sounds good.
So let's start off with the dark. The dark end of the DC Comics, which has Justice League Dark, Swamp Thing, Animal Man, Frankenstein Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., I, Vampire, Resurrection Man, and Demon Knights. How's this to kick off our review of the mid-season? Those are all great. The entire dark section is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back and look at our reviews, even the issues that we felt were slow to start, like, say, Resurrection Man, but still liked it, they've all picked up. The entire dark section of the DCU, we're really enjoying it.
There's no, as far as Andrew and I go, there is no low point in any of the dark titles.
Yeah.
They're all so good, which is so great for those characters and that section, the Vertigo-y section.
Yeah, and Swamp Thing and Animal Man, as you are well aware of,
two of our favorites.
So DC the Dark is definitely doing it for us.
So good. Real good work on the dark. So grab yourself any of those titles because you will enjoy every moment. Up next, The Edge. This is where, I don't know exactly how to describe what it is. It's a lot of the Wildstorm titles. A lot of those Wildstorm characters are in here. But in The Edge, you've got Stormwatch, Grifter, Deathstroke, Suicide Squad, OMAC, Blackhawks, Men of War, Voodoo, and All-Star Western. All-Star Western always tops the list every time. This is that weird grab bag section, I guess, of The Edge, but All-Star Western always hits the top of the list.
It's probably dealing with, like, anti-heroes like that, you know?
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe not a clear-cut good guy. They're not really superheroes.
And they're not affiliated with any particular, like, Green Lantern or Batman or Superman or Justice League. They're just also there.
I mean, but again, we have Stormwatch, which is great.
Stormwatch we love.
All-Star Western is amazing.
Voodoo,
which is a surprise.
And OMAC. We cannot say enough good things about OMAC.
Yeah, I mean, again, OMAC, great book. This Edge section also has Grifter.
It also has Grifter, which is the low point of all of the Edge titles for me.
Yeah, for us. And I know that there are people out there who like Grifter, and that's great. And you know what? Feel free to comment on the video and tell us why.
Why?
Because we want to like all these comics too, and we're kind of looking for how these comics can improve so that they become titles that we are excited about and recommend. And hell, you know, we hear so much about Grifter, and we want it to be great. We're just not seeing the appeal of it. Mm-hmm. But All-Star Western is one of the top books of this entire relaunch.
Of course.
And Stormwatch
is mind-blowing. Huge concepts, big concepts, and it's so fun to read.
But the other thing that I think is great about these books, and just looking back at that, aside from Grifter and Suicide Squad, which I think were definite steps back after the first couple issues, Blackhawks is getting better with last issue.
Blackhawks is really getting good.
And we forgot to actually put that in our top pick list. I would have put Blackhawks last week in our
But again, like I say every time we read it, Blackhawks isn't one of those books that when I see it on the pile, I go, oh yeah, it's Blackhawks. Like I always go, oh yeah, Blackhawks is also this week. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a good book. It just doesn't jump to the top of the pile every week.
But it's getting better as well.
It is getting very good.
That's actually exciting. It's like, you know, we read a lot of books every week, and we want to enjoy all the books.
Yeah, and then as far as the Edge, like Suicide Squad, Blackhawks is getting better. I want Deathstroke, Suicide Squad, and Men of War to be good. Yeah. I want them to be good.
And Men of War is good.
Men of War is good. It just took a step back in the third issue, and I really want those titles to be good.
Yeah. But Suicide Squad, I reread that issue with Harley. And,
oh, boy. That was a mistake. You should not have gone back.
I try to find the good in every issue, and that last issue of Suicide Squad number 3.
It's real tough. Real tough to take. Up next, the Young Justice section of the DC, which is Teen Titans, Static Shock, fucking Dove Blue Beetle, Legion of Superheroes, and Legion Lost. Teen Titans has been solid from the beginning.
Yep.
And I feel Legion Lost has gotten so great as it's been going.
It has gotten better.
And then
even as a non-Legion fan, I'm actually looking at Legion Lost and going, I'm actually on board the story.
I really look forward to them to team up at some point or cross over with something like Teen Titans, which would be real fun. Yeah. Then Blue Beetle and Legion of Superheroes are both kind of hovering in that middle range for me.
Well, it's frustrating for us with Blue Beetle because they did the origin story so well before.
I know.
And this is just kind of, they're reiterating it without... I feel like I've read it before and I've read it better.
Yeah.
But again, that's not to say it's a bad book.
It's not a bad book. It's just I want it to be better than it is.
Yeah.
And the same with Legion of Superheroes. I don't think it's a terrible book. It just needs to be a little better than it is. And then on the end of the spectrum, the red end of the spectrum, if you will, Static Shock is not doing it for me at all. I love that character. He had a Saturday morning cartoon. I thought that show was great. That his comic isn't doing it for me. And don't introduce Hardware from Wildstorm and then never bring him back. I really, really want Hard. I want to see what's going on there.
Yeah.
And then Hawk and Dove is...
Were you too hard on Hawk and Dove?
No.
I was just asking if your opinion changed on it.
No. Why? Did yours change?
No.
Okay, now we're getting into some big names here. The Green Lantern end of things with Green Lantern Corps, New Guardians, and Red Lanterns. Of that, all Green Lantern, of course, the standout book. Johns and Mankey are doing a hell of a job on it.
Yeah.
Green Lantern Corps and Red Lanterns both are kind of in that I want them to get better. Red Lanterns is really on the way.
Yeah, I mean, again, with Red Lanterns,
Yeah.
it was a different take. We weren't expecting it. Then you kind of see what they're doing with it, and you're like, okay.
I'm getting it, so I want to see the next part of the story
Right.
to continue this. And then, same with Corps. It started so strong week 1, and week 2 was a lot of
Just action with not really...
any character or any story.
Yeah.
It was just fighting.
unbalanced, right?
And then 3 I thought was better, but then that Deus Ex Machina dropping in a guy who can... Oh, also I am a teleporter.
Yeah,
Oh, great.
I didn't mind that. But
I know you didn't.
I didn't mind it as much, but yeah, I mean, those two titles. But then there's...
New Guardians, which is brutal. I want to care.
It's just it's tough when you're, and I mentioned this in previous review shows, was that you're relying on the rings as such a plot device as opposed to the characters themselves.
Yeah.
Let's learn about the characters of who the New Guardians are, and then maybe...
I think that assumption had been made that we know who the characters are from all the Blackest Night stuff, but we don't really.
No,
with
because
these
this
extras.
is new. This is the DC new.
These other characters, we don't know who they are yet. So overall, Green Lantern is the one real good book. Red Lanterns and Corps are coming on.
Yeah.
But New Guardians is... I don't think if it would be on the list if we could pick our own list.
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, up next, your favorite section,
Batman.
the Batman. And as a Batman, not a Batman fan myself,
Yeah.
shocked at how many Batman titles I'm enjoying.
Killing it.
Like, blowing out of the
Bat titles
water.
are killing it.
You got Batman, Detective Comics. I'll read all the good ones. Batman Detective Comics, Batman and Robin, Batgirl, Batwoman, Catwoman, Birds of Prey, and Red Hood. For me, Nightwing still needs to go somewhere.
You know what? It's there, though. It's right on the line.
Yeah, it really is.
But honestly, as a Batman fan, I would probably drop Detective Comics with Nightwing. Because I think Detective is good, but it can be great as well.
Yeah, but Batman is... Snyder's Batman is awesome.
Yeah.
And then the only two dark spots in the whole Batman thing are Batwing and Dark Knight for me.
Yeah, but... Okay, Dark Knight, I completely agree with you on.
Batwing is very slowly getting better.
Yeah.
And as soon as they started bringing in that other team, that old team of African heroes, I'm on board. I want to know more.
And that's actually why I have hope for Batwing. Where it's like, with Batman Dark Knight, aside from the art by Finch, which I think is beautiful, I just find that the story's not there. Flash is not the Flash. They're not writing the characters the way the characters actually are.
Yeah.
And they exist.
Yep.
But Nightwing, I really like the Nightwing run so far. I think Tomasi's Batman and Robin is actually right up there with Batman. Maybe not as great, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to a lot of people outside of this, and a lot of people's favorite books is Batman and Robin because of that interesting Bruce and Damian dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Which I need to see more of, because right now the dynamic is Bruce and this other dude who's trying to sway Damian. I don't know a lot about Damian. I want to learn more, and here I am trying to pick that book up to learn more, and I don't know anything about it.
What about Catwoman and Red Hood?
Two of the best, funniest, smart, action-packed, more adult comics.
Right.
Definitely neither of those books should be handed to
children.
But Red Hood is hilarious and fun to read and has some great characters in it. Catwoman has adventure, and she rides that line. That Catwoman title could very well be in The Edge.
Yeah.
with those other kind of anti-hero things, because even the last issue, she's like, I don't know why I got to do this stuff. I just do it.
Yeah.
So those two books are so good, and people really shit on them, and I think that's unfair. Up next, a section that is really interesting. I think it's very interesting.
It's very telling.
Of all the sections of their comics that got the reboot, the Superman comics got the heaviest, hardest reboot of everything. And as it turns out, these 4 titles, Action Comics, Superman, Superboy, and Supergirl, Action is the only good one of that bunch. The rest are just not doing it for me. Superboy has shades of what it can be by introducing the Wildstorm, Fairchild character, and having Rose in it. It's like, that's the stuff I'm interested in. As soon as those 3, Superboy and Rose and Fairchild, are in a panel together, that's when I'm on board. The rest of it, I don't even know what Superboy can do anymore. He's got tactile telekinesis. I thought Superman.
Okay, so let me put this out here, right? So, Lobdell is writing Red Hood and the Outlaws, which we love.
We love.
Teen Titans, which we really like.
Yeah.
And he's writing Superboy, which we like parts of.
Parts of.
The parts we don't like.
No, you know what the parts I like? When the teenagers are talking to each other.
Yeah. But not when Superboy is necessarily front and center. So you gotta kind of ask yourself, well, is it the company mandate of forcing a new style, new canon for the super books that isn't necessarily fitting with everything else? I mean, I'm not sure. It's a question that I think needs to be asked because we like his other 2 books.
We do. And I like when Rose and Fairchild and him are talking.
Yeah, but for me, Supergirl is just... I mean, I'm not getting Supergirl at all.
No.
It would be... I love the character. I really liked what...
Well, if you want to make her different than Superman, you don't need to rewrite her origin.
Right.
She's already fish out of water.
Yeah.
She showed up old as opposed to showing up like a baby. She showed up as a teenager or whatever.
Yeah.
But to try and get us interested in her by introducing her very own Lex Luthor, you don't rip off another character like that to instantly create a villain.
Yeah, but I think that's
lazy.
Even the fact that this series has gone back to an origin story, I think is because they had to do a Superman origin story, and they had to change because Superman was changing
so much. It affected all the other.
They had to.
Yeah.
Even though those other titles didn't need a new origin.
No, and Superman took a step in the right direction with Nicholas Scott getting on board, but it is.
Hey, if you guys are watching our reviews, you know how I feel about Superman. And here's the thing:
it's got moments.
We have Action Comics as alike, but that's not to say we like the direction of Superman. I think that it's because Morrison and Rags Morales is doing, like, you can appreciate the art in their work. That's not to say that maybe the direction of Superman is something that
it's not.
We like, right? So, I mean, it's kind of...
I'm not a big Superman fan, but even I know that what they've done to Superman is really bad.
I want the best for these characters. I mean, I love the character of Superman, and I just think that this company-wide mandate of making him accessible is, in fact, closing him off to
I think it's backfiring.
All readers.
I think it's backfiring.
We'll see if the sales numbers at the end of all this, dictate whether their decision was correct or not.
Moving on to the final section of these 52, the Justice League. We'll start with the stuff that isn't the best. We'll close on a high.
Sure, sounds good.
So the stuff that isn't the best right now, as far as I can really only find 2 things that really stick out as not the best. One of them started out great and has since slipped every week as Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
Love the character, but it's just slipping every week, and that's a shame because I love that character and I want to see him do well.
Each one of those 3 books felt like it was a different character, a different issue, a different tone.
And I don't know if that's because the art's changed. I don't know what has changed on that book, but it has really changed every issue.
See, and some people had issue with the fact that the first issue was, we described it as a comedy book, a sci-fi comedy book. It was aimed at that. And we defended it. We were like, it's great. It's that kind of book. But then issue 2 comes out.
It's never been that book since.
And it's like, well, maybe we were wrong in reading it. Maybe we were just, laughing at everything that day.
Drink the DC Kool-Aid.
Yeah, drinking the Kool-Aid. Because issue 2 was different. And then we're like, okay, well, maybe issue 3 will pick back up. But then issue 3 felt different than issue 2.
Yes.
And did this tacked on morality,
which was
thing,
unnecessary.
didn't work
for me.
So, I mean, yeah, Mr. Terrific, we felt that it started off strong and has since really fallen off.
It really has. Another one that's never taken off for us is Hawkman. Sorry, love the Hawkman character, love everything about him. I'll say this, I've been on board with the crazy life of Hawkman, with his multiple reincarnations and his crazy different Hawk woman, Hawk girl, all the different things. Is he this? Is he that?
And
is
this
he
is
an
the
Egyptian
worst
prince?
one.
Is it great? Yeah, this is. I don't follow this at all, let alone to have the Hawkman armor come out of him. That is so Blue Beetle. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Fix it.
I like Hawkman as well.
Oh.
Maybe not as much as Nug.
Oh, I'm not a crazy nerd for Hawkman,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I like that character.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And I agree that this book is not doing anything for the character.
Nope.
Enough about Hawkman. Like,
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
The stuff that is kind of in that zone of it has flashes of good, we want it to be better so bad, there's really only 3. Green Arrow is getting there.
Yeah.
I enjoy that they've made him the Steve Jobs, and that's fun.
But you're right in saying that there's something missing with
There
Green
is a
Arrow.
little something missing. I'm hoping it comes up if it's a more swashbuckling attitude, but
Yeah.
and I really miss his civic responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think that's coming now that he's gone through that first arc. He realizes that he's got to do it, and he's made a little speech at the end. So, Firestorm, it's got to get better.
It has to. I mean, with the creative team that it has on board. And like I like this is right on the edge of being like a bad book for me. I want to love Firestorm, but I'm just the first issue that what I felt was tacked on racism that you didn't need it.
Understood. We get it. They're different.
You get the jock, you get the nerd. You get it. I think it's a mess as well.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like there are glimpses where it's like, oh, could be great.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think Firestorm is failing in the execution.
I really look forward to them meeting the other Firestorms from around the world, and I think that will help.
I hope so.
I hope so,
'cause,
too. The other one, that it's funny, because some of these were like, these were great, or we want them to get better. Here's a book that was like way down on our list, and has since been just going, a Captain Atom.
Yeah, the last issue really...
surprised us.
It's weird, because the first 2 I would rate as bad, and then the last issue as really good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird. Where does that... I guess that's in the middle.
I guess that's why I average it out.
Yeah, it balances itself out. So again, we are really hoping that it takes more from that last issue and builds on it. So yeah, Captain Atom as well. It's one of those books that we want to see do well.
And then the rest is all gold. DC Universe presents right now with Dead Man. Right. I have a feeling that when it goes to Challengers of the Unknown, some people are going to fall off.
You know what? It's one of those difficult books to market. I feel like because you're changing the character. It's hard to be like. And then when you drop the book because of a different character, what if the next character is not someone you're interested in?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you've got DC Universe presents Batman.
But yeah.
Which is not what the book.
Which is unnecessary. He's got 14 titles as it is.
Exactly.
But I really look forward to seeing, I know it's Dead Man now, it will be Challengers. I look forward to seeing what the next one will be, because that's the kind of stuff I like. I like those lesser knowns. Maybe the Metal Man.
DC Universe presents Red Tornado.
Okay, don't get my hopes up. But maybe it'll be Metal Man. Maybe we'll see a Creeper in the New 52. Like, these characters, that's their spot to come in right there. That they went with Challengers before Red Tornado. A little mystifying to me, but that's fine. Other ones we love on this list in the Justice League section, Justice League.
Yeah.
Justice League International. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash.
All great books.
All great books. And that's what's funny to me is the ones they want to push as big names. Like, you've got your core 3, your Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. And then you've got your Green Lantern, your Flash, and then Aquaman.
Yeah.
Those are all supposed to be your awesome books. Hey, your Justice League with all those guys in it, awesome book. Aquaman, great. Wonder Woman, great. Flash, great. Green Lantern, great. Batman, great. Why is Superman not on that great list?
And honestly, my biggest complaint with Justice League is Superman.
I know.
You know that. So, again, it's the company-wide mandate of making this new Superman for a new generation. And I'm not feeling it. Having said that, if you look back at the lists of the books we really like, let's just look at Justice League, right? We've got Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and The Flash. Every single one of those books feels different.
Yes.
it's a different style of book.
Yes.
And even if you look at The Edge, if you look at all the different styles of books, where these books shine is when you pick up DC Universe Presents Deadman or Justice League Dark. And you know exactly the kind of book you're reading.
Yeah, you can open those... When you open a Frankenstein,
Yeah.
when you open an I, Vampire, and the art puts you right in the world, and the writing puts you there, and the characters put you there, that's what that book is.
Right.
But when you open Superman right now,
Yeah.
it's very unfamiliar. And we
Yeah.
don't know anything about Superman. The only place we're finding out about Superman is in Action Comics, and that's one of the good books.
And the other thing with the books that we're not actually feeling as much, they all seem generic. Like Grifter. There's nothing... What kind of book is Grifter supposed to be? Who cares?
Hawkman?
What kind... It's supposed to be a superhero book, but what kind of book? Again, if we said, let's follow an archaeology book. Hey, I'm on board that. But that you have a defined set of rules that you can build the story and book upon.
Yep.
So, I mean, I find that it's when the book struggles with what it actually is that we're not liking it. But if the creative team knows the kind of book there is, like Voodoo, where we're like, oh, this is a B-movie book, this is great, then it's better and does well. Like, I, Vampire is another one of those books that we completely just didn't see coming as being a great book, but it knows what it is.
And
it's
it's
dark,
real good.
it's disturbing, it's really good.
Now, don't forget about the miniseries that are happening right now. Huntress, excellent. Penguin, excellent. Legion Secret Origin, which we reviewed today. Unnecessary. We'll see what happens. Has some fun parts. And Shade, which, thank you for...
I sent them the text that we were going to keep reviewing it. I just got a great.
You know what?
You know, it was a text, so I just took that as being an authentic great.
True. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to the Snail for having us here. It's a short week, guys, but that's even better. It gets these guys out of here.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? To DC Comics, I mean, we're on board this new relaunch, and we really like the majority of the books that you're putting out. So continue the great work. And
please.
Next week is Animal Man and Swamp Thing again. So
that's nice. That feels nice. Feels like coming home
to a swamp
with an animal, right?